Business decisions that work for all. Have you ever made a business decision that left you feeling great but left everyone else scrambling? Or maybe you compromised too much and now you're stuck cleaning up a mess? What if there's a way to tell you that there's a way of making business decisions that work for all? In other words, they're right for you, right for me, right for us, right for all. It's a tall order, but it's doable. But surprisingly, it doesn't work all of the time. I'm Jana Henneman, and today we're talking about Sustainable Success Part 1 out of 3 different parts. We're going to explore how to make business decisions that create lasting impacts without burning bridges, and what you can do when that perfect solution isn't on the table. So what do I mean by sustainable success? It's not about short-term wins or quick fixes. It's about making decisions that are 1, right for you, respects your values and your boundaries. 2, right for me, respects my boundaries and my values. 3, right for us, works for all parties involved, fostering collaboration and mutual benefit. And 4, right for all, creating a ripple effect of positive outcomes. So let's use plastic as an example. When plastic was first created, it was right for you, right for me, right for us. It was great. It was answering a lot of challenges that we were facing as a society, but it was not right for all. Hence the plastic oceans that we see. Plastic is found in breast milk and throughout our bodies. In other words, it wasn't right for all. What initially seemed like an all-win scenario turned out to be anything but. But when you make decisions that hit all 4 of those marks, you're creating success that will last. But here's the catch and what this video is about. It's not always possible to check every box. So why is this? Well, not everyone plays the same game. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to spot when sustainable success is attainable and how to recognize when you're playing with people who aren't playing the same game by the same rules as you are. Here's the kicker. You can attain sustainable success if everyone involved is playing by the same rules. In business, though, that isn't always the case. It's up to you to determine whether or not you're playing with people who are playing by the same rules. And if not, even though you might have the best intentions and are still trying to play an all-win sustainable success scenario, if other people aren't, you're gonna fall flat on your face. This is why I call it biz-sin-ness. In business, we might be playing by the rules of basketball. Our coworkers might be playing tennis, our clients might be playing pickleball, and the rest of the organization might be playing chess. The way we create an all-win scenario is by effectively communicating the rules of the game to everyone so that we're all on the same team. And even after you've communicated them with everyone that's playing the game, there's still going to be people who may not be playing by the same rules. So be sure that you don't get ran over. For example, I had friends in Malaysia who wanted to start selling men's shoes in bulk. They started a new business, things were looking well, and they found a manufacturer in another country that made the same shoes they were selling at a deep discount. So they ended up buying a substantial amount of shoes from this manufacturer, and they ordered plenty in many different sizes, thinking that they were getting them at a steal. When the shoes arrived, however, they were only the left foot pairs of shoes. They were not in pairs. They didn't come with a left and a right shoe. They just came with all left shoes. This mistake cost them greatly. Sure, they were playing by a certain set of rules, but the manufacturer wasn't. And it cost them financially, mentally, emotionally. It was a mess. Before you can play an all-win scenario, you need to make sure everyone's playing the same game. They even went back and reviewed the contract they had with the manufacturer, and then they realized nowhere in there did it say that they were to be buying pairs of shoes, both the left and the right-hand side. It was a costly mistake, and one that was easily overlooked by them. So the first rule to this is make sure you're playing with people that play by the same rules of the game as you do. So when do you learn to settle for the less of 2 evils? As stated, not every decision has a perfect outcome, no matter how great the intentions are. Here's how to recognize when you can play an all-win scenario or learn to take the path of least damage. In other words, here are some red flags in the great game of business. Number 1, lack of transparency. If they withhold key information, misrepresent facts, or dodge accountability, they're prioritizing their own gain over collective success. An easy example of this is knowing someone who says one thing but turns around and does another. Their actions aren't quite matching up with what they say. 2, consistent self-interest. When Every decision they make benefits them and only them, leaving everyone else in the dust. You're dealing with someone who doesn't value mutual benefit. For example, you might hire someone to do your marketing for your company, and you might even pay them handsomely for it, but at the end of the day, you don't receive any conversions. And even, and this has happened to a friend of mine, they're going on as you on your account and liking all their other clients' content and commenting from your accounts. Watch out for that. Number 3, resistance to feedback. People who can't or won't receive constructive feedback often see collaboration as a threat instead of as an opportunity. For example, you hire an admin assistant to help you with paperwork and deadlines. When you approach them after missing a few deadlines and you let them know that they need to pick up the slack, they berate you with a bunch of excuses, maybe even personally and professionally. Number 4, short-term thinking. Their focus is more on immediate wins other than long-term gains. And in fact, these short-term wins might have long-term consequences that they completely cast to the side without regard. In other words, they won't consider the bigger picture. Be careful of people like that. And a great example would be going back to the example of my friends who were buying shoes. The manufacturer made a substantial amount of money in that first sale, selling only left-hand shoes, but they missed out on a greater opportunity, one that would have made them possibly millions of dollars over the course of a year or a couple of years, should they have played with a win-win mindset. So would you settle for $100,000 in a month and have it be a one-off? Or do you want to sign up for that $100,000 a month every few months? That's what all-win looks like when you're playing with other people with all-win mindsets. Number 5, manipulative behavior. Subtle or not so subtle tactics to guilt, coerce, or push others into decisions reveals a lack of respect for boundaries and values. For example, I do my best not to sell on FOMO or fear of missing out. I also don't like being pushed into buying something now while there's a sale, or pushed to buy something that isn't right for me. This is why in We&Co, we're looking for members where membership is all 4 things: right for you, right for me, right for us, right for all. And hey, even if membership isn't right for you, that's okay. We have dozens of events all the time that are open to the public, and you're more than welcome to come and network with us without fear of us mean-mugging you from across the room. Number 6, unwillingness to compromise. Refusing to adapt or find the middle ground between all the other people that are in on this deal suggests that they're playing by a zero-sum mindset where only one party can win. Example, I've been on a sales team before where the manager incentivizes competition by offering bonuses only to the top performer each quarter. And while this isn't inherently bad, this structure encourages the team members to see each other as competition instead of as partners. Instead of sharing leads, strategies, and insights that could benefit the team as a whole, each salesperson hoarded their resources and focused solely on their individual success. It makes me wonder how much more money that organization could have made if everyone worked together. And side note, competition isn't bad. I mean, it can be even healthy in certain situations. But personally, and this might change with time, but I kind of lean more towards collaboration over competition. Number 7, toxic communication. Passive-aggressive comments or behaviors, dismissive attitudes, or outright hostility signal a breakdown in respect and collaboration. In past videos, I've shared an example that I had with a teacher at a school that I provided business services for. The owner had me tail one of the teachers so that I could learn the culture of the business. The problem was that she saw me as competition instead of as an ally. She withheld information, she withheld standard operating procedures, and among many things was talking smack behind my back. She was actually consciously setting me up for failure. And this was all so that she could look better in the eyes of the owner. Luckily, we ended up working it out and it's all in the past. But the first several months of me working in that organization was awful. Every day I thought about quitting. And I had to learn the hard way how to work with her instead of trying to play an all-win game when she was playing a win-lose game. When you see these signs, it's time to reevaluate the relationships you have with the people in business that you're dealing with. Choose partnerships that align with your commitment to sustainable success. Right for you, right for me, right for us, right for all. This was just part 1 of a 3-part series on this topic. Be sure to tune in next week for part 2. And be sure to like, follow, subscribe, leave us a comment in the comments section, and feel free to sign up for our weekly newsletter. No fluff, just the good stuff. I'm Yana Henneman, and I will see you this time next week. you.